Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. The hunt lasted for a month, of which he battled 3 times a day for the first 8 days. Later on he only did 1 battle a day. Within this month of hunting, Luofeng was the main force during the first 6 days. However, later on, he began to hide and let his slaves do the job. Even though the proficiency may have fallen slightly without him, it didn't affect the hunt too much, and doing so would help him avoid huge troubles later on. After all, if he appeared every time as the main leader, he would be in big trouble for killing too many warriors. A total of 46 battles were fought in a month. This made his slave count grow from the initial heavy arrow to a total of 9, meaning, from his hunt, he had acquired 8 new slaves. Congratulations, Master. Master, these are the goods left behind. The soul slaves were all absolutely loyal, giving all the treasures from the battles to him. As for their own wealth and treasures, they gave to him also. And Luofeng arranged them on his own after, leaving them a few according to his plan. Even though he managed to get a huge amount of wealth from the 46 battles, upgrading the strength of the 9 slaves would require his own strength and resources. He felt the pressure. The shockwave that he had created spread throughout Star Tower. Initially, he had brought Heavy Arrow with him to the many battles, and the news had spread between the 3 camps. At that time, the number of warriors he killed hadn't reached so high yet. Even though it had made him more renowned than before, the entire Star Tower was still considered pretty calm. However, as time passed, the news of him killing more warriors shook the entire place. 6 days, 18 battles, 13 of which spread the news. There were about a total of 40 emperors dying at the hands of Blade River Emperor, among which 13 of them were Pinnacle Emperors and Soul Masters or Emperor Limit. Hua. The news spread fast and shook Star Tower. The Outer Region Wars was a massacre place. The warriors there wouldn't back down from fear of Blade River's strength. His actions had indeed enraged many. Many warriors from the other races began to form groups all looking for him and Heavy Arrow, wanting to kill him. The originally calm over 100,000 Undyings thus had more intense battles. This resulted in many more casualties. However, when they had begun to look for him, he vanished. The many battles that took place never had Blade River in them. In truth, some of the slaves Luofeng got didn't reveal their enslavement. Hence, Luofeng had arranged for them to form groups of 2 or 3 to hunt. 1 battle a day. Without Luofeng within, no one would suspect that he was involved. The atmosphere had gotten pretty crazy within Star Tower because of the massacre from Blade River Emperor. After he vanished, he secretly sent his slaves to target Pinnacle Soul Masters or Emperor Limits. There were still many that fell. The deaths of these warriors caused the atmosphere to go crazy. It's too crazy, even a Pinnacle Emperor or Emperor Limit can fall here. It's best we leave Star Tower temporarily. Haha, this is a rare encounter. With warriors dying, we have a chance of getting huge wealth. Kill. It's rare to have a chance to battle. Normally, those hard to deal with warriors would just retreat. That's seriously boring. Right now, Star Tower is truly a battleground. Some of the weaker and scared warriors left Star Tower. However, other bloodthirsty and confident warriors rushed here, causing the chaos within to ensue. There were also many still searching for Blade River. However, they couldn't locate him at all. Within a forbidden space, a glaring gold-armored silhouette glowing with black light, seemingly like an automaton puppet, was present. This cold automaton warrior was the automaton super warrior that had just rushed here, Lifefall Emperor. He actually killed so many Pinnacle Emperor Soul Masters, and so many Emperor Limit. Over 10 of them, and the many other emperors. His voice was filled with strength. His eyes were gleaming with fighting spirit. This warrior is worthy of my time. Behind him 6 others followed respectfully. I've come here for Blade River Emperor. Lifefall was excited. At his level of strength, he wasn't interested in dealing with normal Emperor Limits anymore. If he wanted to fight, it had to be one with special encounters, or heavy treasures, or one with special battling abilities. In all, it had to be special. When the sealed star fell before, he didn't manage to kill 7 Blade, and that made him regretful. He didn't have any guarantee dealing with 7 Blade or Da Long, such absolute warriors. However, against a new Blade River Emperor that was just a little more renowned than other Emperor Limits, he was confident. Lord, we cannot find Blade River. We've contacted many other allies, none of them have discovered him. Lifefall's eyes gleamed with rage as he heard this. This audacious Blade River had created such a storm, killing over 10 pinnacle soul masters and emperor limits, yet now he's just vanished. Has he left Star Tower? Check for me. We have automaton warriors all over, and I will also give a bounty of 1 billion indigo gems for news on his location. The moment we confirm the news is real, I will give the reward. Yes. Yes, Lord. The 6 warriors replied. Blade River Emperor. Lifefall's eyes gleamed. He was clear that since Blade River could kill so many warriors, he definitely had some treasure or encounters. Also, just the wealth from killing so many emperors, that would be no small sum even to him. The moment he killed Blade River, he would get a huge windfall. Naturally, he wouldn't give up so easily on his target. Blade River Emperor? Check. Find out where Blade River is. Da Long had targeted him too. Killing him would get him a huge windfall, why not? This storm had started because of Blade River. Even though he had killed so many absolute warriors, he was only that strong himself. Killing the Emperor limits wasn't considered a massacre, plus the numbers weren't huge, hence the super beings didn't intervene. However, warriors like Lifefall, Da Long and Black Tomb were renowned warriors of the outer region wars. Hence, they all began to target him. The level of strength begets the level of fame. Since Blade River dared to cause such a storm, then the others would naturally covet for his wealth. It became a challenge to see whether one could defeat Blade River. As long as Blade River could flee from Lifefall or Da Long, that would be proof of his strength. Virtual Universe, Luo Feng's villa. There were only 2 people in his living room, Luo Feng and Tru Yang. Luo Feng, you've caused quite a storm this time, what are you doing? Tru Yang stared at his own disciple. Your reputation has grown huge, and that would attract stronger enemies. I think, Black Tomb, Da Long, that group of punks could all be targeting you. No problem. Luo Feng smiled. No problem. Tru Yang shook his head. Look, you don't even know how many of these other race warriors are trying to kill you, and your reputation within the Hong Alliance is huge too. With frequent dealings with many warriors, like those exploring dangerous secret regions, they would invite you along. The name represents strength. Without sufficient strength behind, you will fall. Tru Yang looked at him. I have had some special encounters. Luo Feng smiled and consoled his teacher. Tru Yang was shocked. Special encounters? Are you fully confident of being able to survive and escape from such warriors? Tru Yang couldn't believe it. His disciple was powerful, but these other warriors, which of them didn't have their own treasures and encounters? Which of them didn't have huge amounts of treasure? How powerful were they? I have confidence. Luo Feng nodded, without any hesitation. Tru Yang looked shocked at him. After which he sighed and shook his head. Forget it, since you are so confident, let's see what happens. I will work hard and not disappoint you. Luo Feng mocked. There were indeed many trying to befriend him after his name grew. However, he dealt with them casually. Only with his teacher did he actually take the time to meet and handle any questions. Within the palace in Star Tower surrounded by sealed stars, silver-armored Luo Feng stood there, and behind him stood a row of absolute warriors, a total of 9. They were Heavy Arrow, Emperor Limit, Honed Heart, Emperor Pinnacle Soul Master, Zhenzhong, Emperor Limit, Metal Flag, Emperor Limit, Sorrow Demon, Emperor Pinnacle Soul Master, Chu Kan, Emperor Pinnacle Soul Master, Ji Hong, Emperor Limit, holding the true treasure Ancient Clock, Mountain Howl, Emperor Limit, Fu Shui, Emperor Limit, holding the true treasure Ice Net. These were the 9 warriors Luo Feng controlled. There were a total of 46 battles in his hunt, killing over 100 emperors. Of which, when he killed a high emperor, he was lucky to discover he had the true treasure Ice Net. Killing so many emperor limits and soul masters, however, didn't get him any true treasures. According to their strengths and styles, he finally gave the Ice Net to Fu Shui to use, and the Ancient Clock was more suited for Ji Hong Emperor. Luo Feng looked at his 9 slaves and felt strength. Even though he had been strong all this while, the moment a pinnacle or emperor limit burnt their undying bodies and gave it their all, he would only be able to rely on the Sha Wu wings to defend and dodge. Because of this, he was only capable of prolonging the battle, and this was his big weak point. He had no undying body to burn. Now I have 9 powerful slaves, and all of them are undyings of other races. I wouldn't ever have to simply waste time when the enemy burns his undying energy. 9 warriors, of which 4 were controlled directly by him. The other 5 were controlled by him through his slaves. He directly controlled Heavy Arrow, Honed Heart, Ji Hong and Fu Shui. When he first chose his targets, he knew that Ji Hong was suitable for the ancient clock. Hence, he naturally personally controlled Ji Hong himself at critical times. As the last one he controlled, Fu Shui was controlled because he was suitable for the ice net. In terms of importance, the ancient clock and ice net, these two true treasures, were much more important than the emperor limits themselves. Hong Alliance, within a restaurant. Luo Feng was sipping tea casually. The Ping-hai business had grown huge, making tea a widely available drink, and there were many connoisseurs of tea throughout the universe now. A knocking on door, the staff specially assigned to his booth gently tapped on the wall and a white screen appeared. In it a lady friend Yongyang Emperor dressed in a purple armor with short purple hair was present, and her eyes were glowing blue. Luo Feng glanced over and nodded to the staff, only then did he open the door. The booth door opened. Yongyang entered. "You can leave." Luo Feng ordered the staff. "Yes." The staff left and closed the door behind him, leaving only Luo Feng and Yongyang within. "Blade River, it's been so long, why have you contacted me?" Her expression displayed a sense of interest and curiosity. She sat right beside him as she continued, "But I heard that you've recently caused a great massacre within Star Tower. That was quite a shock." Yongyang was a high emperor. She was friendly but distant before. This time, however, after Luo Feng's name had risen greatly, she was shocked by the news initially, as she never expected him to be that strong. "I need your help," Luo Feng said directly. "I will do my best to assist you. Only thing is, just what can I do to help you?" She looked at him. "Tell me where Tian Chen Emperor is, his exact location," Luo Feng said directly. "The moment it's confirmed, I will transfer 100 million mixed elements as a thank you." "Humph, Blade River sure is generous." She looked at him. "He won't find out about this, right?" Luo Feng nodded. It was easy enough to guess. After all, back then Blade River and Tian Chen were on good terms. If there weren't any special circumstance, he would have easily been able to just call up Tian Chen and ask him himself. Was there a need to get his location through another person? Yongyang wasn't stupid, she smiled. Tian Chen is currently in the most dangerous place of the 7th battlefield, the Twin Whirlpools. Blade River, you can begin heading there, and when you arrive, I will give you the exact location. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. "Thanks Yongyang, I trust in your ability." After which he vanished. Yongyang lifted the glass of tea and pondered, smiling. This is getting interesting. This Blade River sure isn't ordinary at all. It's better to stay on good terms with him. Star Tower, within the palace surrounded by sealed stars. Which among you can get to Twin Whirlpools as fast as possible? Luo Feng looked at his 9 slaves. "Master, I can do it." 3 warriors spoke up. They were after all the top-notch warriors in the outer region wars. Only several others were stronger than them, mainly Lifefall, 7 Blade etc. Hence, other than Star Tower, they had naturally been to many other places within the outer region wars, leaving markers about. "Very good, Ji Hong, you shall lead the way," Luo Feng said. "Yes, master," Ji Hong said respectfully. "Other than Heavy Arrow and Ji Hong by my side, you other 7 will stay in the world ring. Only when I need you for battle will you show yourselves," Luo Feng ordered. The other 7 warriors all complied respectfully, entering the normal world ring. Luo Feng would summon them at critical times. If the battle ever got too intense and he had no way to trigger the world energy of the world ring, the 7 warriors would be able to forcefully break out on their own too. "I left one of my plant lifeform markers within an asteroid there back then," Ji Hong said. "Then let's go," Luo Feng ordered. A light appeared and it engulfed the entire area. Luo Feng was able to see the scene of the distant God country. Luo Feng, Heavy Arrow and Ji Hong were all teleported away from Star Tower. They first appeared within the God country before being teleported to Twin Whirlpools. Twin Whirlpools was an area covered by 2 extremely huge whirlpools. The smaller one had a diameter of 3.9 light-years and the larger one 4.2 light-years. They affected each other and were both unable to swell any larger. However, large amounts of items were still pulled into them. "Master, Twin Whirlpools has both gravity and repelling forces. When you first enter the area, the gravity is very strong. As you get deeper, it gets even crazier, and when you reach the limit, the gravity would vanish and the repelling force will act on you instead. The closer you get to the core, the stronger this force will be. None of the emperors have ever reached the core area." Ji Hong introduced the area respectfully. "Some have tried to teleport in, however the moment they did that, the huge force would instantly destroy them." Luo Feng nodded. The most dangerous places in the entire outer region wars all had their own specialties. Of course, Star Tower was the most special as it was in itself a treasure. An asteroid with a diameter of 3 kilometers revolved about the twin whirlpools. This asteroid's speed is so fast, flying within this arc for countless years. It is unable to escape from the whirlpools or get deeper. Ji Hong said. Luo Feng stood on it and gazed about. With a glance, amidst the vast blackness, he could see little asteroids and mountains etc. Yong Yang. Luo Feng contacted her via the virtual universe. I've arrived at twin whirlpools. So fast. However, I've already checked on his location. These are the coordinates. Thanks. Once it's confirmed, I will send the reward over to your account. A simple transaction. Luo Feng had already acquired the accurate coordinates. Even though Yong Yang was only a high emperor, she was one of the members of a powerful group within the Hong Alliance. This group was proficient in information and investigation, and its unique quality was that all members were female. It was said that the leader of this group was one of the Shrine Masters of the Hong Alliance. Tian Chen isn't far from me, let's go. Luo Feng ordered. Master, teleporting within twin whirlpools requires extremely accurate coordinates. The moment there's a mistake and one enters too deep into the dangerous regions, one could easily lose his life. Ji Hong warned. Luo Feng nodded. The Mosha body had become a metal fragment on his cloud contact armor, feeling the vast space ripples, swiftly determining the exact coordinates. Luo Feng, Heavy Arrow and Ji Hong vanished from the spot. The larger whirlpool had a continent within with a diameter of over 30 million kilometer. It was flying within for all eternity. Within this continent, there were two teams, and one was a team led by Tian Chen. Humph. His long hair flew in the wind as he sat crossed-legged. Beside him stood a tall and sturdy scaled other race warrior. Ever since he earned a lot from the Star Tower incident, his luck had been good. Currently, he had 3 slaves, of which 2 were Emperor limits, and 1 was the pinnacle soul master, Kaimang Emperor. With the 3 warriors and his own strength, he had successfully killed many, getting many treasures and lots of wealth, buying many items within Hong Alliance. When one got stronger, their wealth naturally grew and their treasures grew too. With that, they would get even stronger. This was a virtuous cycle. In theory, he was initially in a very good mood, but it changed suddenly. Blade River Emperor. Blade River. He sat crossed-legged there, the words resounding in his mind. He recalled the information clearly. In less than half a month, Blade River had killed over 10 Soul Masters and Emperor limits, with other emperors ranging over 40. These were all done by Blade River and his slave Heavy Arrow. I knew it. I knew back then that when he escaped, there would be trouble. Just from the exchange with him from back then, I knew that if he could enslave Heavy Arrow, he must have true treasures and a limitless future. I carefully prepared that setup, and secretly tried to kill him. Who would have thought at the critical moment, he'd break free of the illusion and brandish the strongest flame god crystal. Luckily that exit appeared, allowing me to escape. He still remembered that scene when Blade River brandished the crystal without any hesitation. It was terrifying. He understood after that incident that if Blade River didn't die, there would be a tragedy for him in the future. Hence over the 6,000 years, he worked hard to strengthen himself. Even though he had prepared sufficiently, no one would have expected him to be that terrifying. Teleportation? He felt a spatial ripple, turning to look. Tian Chen and the tall and sturdy scaled warrior beside him both looked at where the ripple occurred. 3 powerful silhouettes appeared at the same time. They were the black furry Ji Hong Emperor, the half-a-meter tall adorable Mountain Howl Emperor and the jade green-skinned Fu Shui Emperor. They were all Emperor limits, of which Ji Hong and Fu Shui had the ancient clock and the IceNet treasures. Hence, they were the strongest of Luo Feng's 9 slaves. As for Mountain Howl, if the others all didn't have powerful treasures, he was the strongest of the lot. The 3 of them were Luo Feng's strongest 3. Tian Chen was shocked at the 3 silhouette appearing. Ji Hong, Mountain Howl and Fu Shui, they are all Emperor limits, all warriors that have explored Star Tower. Why are they here? I heard that Fu Shui had fallen, but I didn't expect to see him here. I wonder if he's been enslaved. They must have come here because Star Tower is in too much of a mess. The 3 Emperor limits were actually from 2 different camps. As to the appearance of different camp warriors, Tian Chen was actually not surprised. Just like how Luo Feng had first explored the sacrificial tower with Purple Clock Emperor, due to special reasons, the different sides would occasionally team up. The 3 of them are teaming up, especially that Mountain Howl Emperor. He's the biggest threat. Even if my other 2 slaves appear, We'll only have 4 in total here, and 2 are Emperor Pinnacle Soul Masters. The other 2, however, are Emperor Limits. If we fight it out, we have no chance of winning. Many thoughts flashed past his mind. Over the past 6,000 years, he had killed many other warriors. However, it depended on who he targeted. The 3 before him were all Emperor Limits, he wouldn't madly rush in. Both sides stared at each other. Ji Hong's side's energy was obviously stronger. Fu Shui said coldly, "Tian Chen, we didn't expect to bump into you here." Fu Shui, Ji Hong and Mountain Howl, what a coincidence. Looks like we are all exploring the twin whirlpools. However, I have other things to do, I'll take my leave first. He smiled and said, wanting to take his scaled slave with him to teleport away. However, as he said those last words, a formless ripple spread throughout. The space around them was locked down. Space locked down? His expression sank. Is there something you need from me? The tall and sturdy scaled warrior behind him looked coldly at Ji Hong's side. Indeed. Fu Shui smiled coldly. The moment he spoke. Rumble. The air around exploded, as both sides moved almost simultaneously. Fu Shui and his team rushed forward while Tian Chen's side suddenly had 2 more warriors appear, making his team number reach 4. Tian Chen and his 3 slaves howled and welcomed the battle. Since we've begun, we'll give it our all to control them. If we fail, we'll kill them all. Tian Chen's eyes gleamed with madness, ordering his 3 slaves, Kai Mang, we'll both burn our undying bodies and use illusions. Yes, master. Rumble. Rumble. Tian Chen and Kai Mang were decisive, instantly raising their strengths, causing the space around them to warp. The 2 were incredibly terrifying after burning their undying bodies. They both used illusions to attack Mountain Howl and Ji Hong. While using the illusions, they also tried controlling their souls. Even though the chances of success were incredibly low, if they succeeded, they would have 1 more ally. Rumble. 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 As their energies swelled, Ji Hong's 3 Emperor Limits didn't hesitate in burning their undying energy too. This forced the other 2 slaves of Tian Chen to do the same. Hence, this battle, which involved a total of 7 warriors, all burnt their undying energies, making Tian Chen angry and worried. If you all back off, we won't go after you. Tian Chen shouted. Haha, stop dreaming. Ji Hong's side didn't even stop. We have no grudges. This fight will only result in heavy losses on both sides. It's better to retreat, that's the best for both sides. Tian Chen tried reasoning with them. However, Ji Hong simply replied him with mad attacks. Rumble. The incredibly solid and large continent floating within the whirlpool had a layer chipped away from the ripples of attack from the 7 absolute warriors. And within a world ring Ji Hong carried. Luo Feng and the other 6 warriors lay waiting. They formed a row, maintaining utmost respect for Luo Feng. It's begun. Heavy Arrow smiled. Master, that Tian Chen probably doesn't even know why Ji Hong and the others are going all out. Haha. Luo Feng laughed too. Usually when parties had similar levels of strength, they hardly ever fought it out. And Ji Hong and the others were on orders from their master, they naturally followed them and battled. First heavily injure Tian Zhen, make him lose over half his undying body and his strength won't be 10% of what it was before. Then, I'll appear with the other slaves and try and control him together with the others. Luo Feng's plan was something like that. The reason why he didn't show himself initially was to avoid unnecessary trouble. Because right now, life fall, Da Long, many absolute beings were targeting Blade River. And Tian Chen was naturally clear on this, as he too was worried about Blade River. The moment Luo Feng showed himself, Tian Chen would immediately send this news via the virtual universe, publicly spreading his location. Life Fall and the other super beings, many had publicly announced bounties on his location. Luckily, I'm already retired and I am not part of the army system. As long as I don't show myself, they will never find me. I'll hide for now. When Tian Chen is heavily injured, only then will I appear and swiftly settle this. Then I'll leave immediately. Luo Feng thought. Tian Chen, I had suspected you to be a petty little thief back then. Yet I would never have expected you to control 3 slaves. Fight it out, go on, after this battle, if you don't fall, you'll become my slave. Fu Shui, make your move. Luo Feng ordered via his soul. Yes, master. 7 warriors madly clashed on the flying continent. Mountain Howl Emperor unleashed his natural ability, becoming a mountain-like giant. He was intrepid. Tian Chen's 2 soul masters had caused Ji Hong and Fu Shui to be unable to unleash their full strengths, and were suppressed. Yes, master. The moment Fu Shui received his order, he smiled coldly and used the ice net to unleash his renowned technique Fu Shui 9 blows. He unleashed his law domain and triggered the universe energies. The ice net became the framework, immediately forming an endless ice domain 1 million km around, engulfing all 7 warriors within. Every drop of water was 1,000 kilograms, with endless ice and water about. Naturally, their speeds were all greatly affected. Master, why is this Fu Shui's Fu Shui C so powerful? I've battled him before and it wasn't this strong. Hurry and get out of the Fu Shui Sea, Tian Chen ordered. Amidst the ice-cold ocean, Tian Chen and the others all rushed into the sky. However, amidst the vast ocean, flying along within was a visible clear transparent thread that shot straight at Tian Chen. Master, be careful. A special rope binding spirit weapon. Be careful. Tian Chen's side was caught off guard. Kai Mang was the first to be heavily bound by the rope, and he automatically let his undying body crumble to escape the binding. However, the moment he was reforming, the rope once again wrapped about him. That way, he had no way to unleash his strength at all. He and Tian Chen were both soul masters. The other 2 slaves were even more unlucky, because they relied on close combat. What powerful binding! I can't get free, and even my attacks don't work. It's very likely a true treasure. Be careful. Tian Chen saw the 3 powerful silhouettes swiftly rushing closer. He gritted his teeth and took out his most treasured possession from the past 6,000 years. He brandished a 12-meter-tall automaton weapon. It was the super automaton weapon, Separation Tower. Its power was terrifying. Back then when Lifefall tried to kill Seven Blade, he used this Separation Tower. Hence, its power was well known. Wong wong wong, Tian Chen madly burnt undying energy to pour into the weapon. He was willing to risk it all. You want to kill me? Go and die. His expression was malevolent. A jade-green arc light suddenly appeared and shot straight at Fu Shui. In Tian Chen's eyes, that powerful binding that made even 2 Emperor limits unable to attack or escape was too powerful. The moment this went on, his team may lose their lives. Hence, his first target would naturally be the one controlling the net, Fu Shui Emperor. A huge clock appeared within the ocean. It completely covered the now smaller mountain Howl, Fu Shui, and Jihong within. Actually, when Tian Chen took out the Separation Tower before, Jihong was shocked. It's a Separation Tower. Mountain Howl, Fu Shui, hurry into the ancient clock. Rumble. The jade-green light shout out and hit the purple ancient clock, as its powerful force tore through the entire ocean area. The ancient clock shook as it got hit, diffusing 90% of the force, creating ripples of shockwaves within. Within, however, Fu Shui, Mountain Howl and Jihong were all Emperor limits, and they had burnt their undying energy. In terms of quantified strength alone, they were 1 whole level above Tian Chen. Even without the ancient clock's defense, they would at most get heavily injured from the Separation Tower, and the chances of falling were very low. With the ancient clock protection now, they were easily able to defend themselves. We actually had to use the ancient clock. Let's give it to that punk good. Anyone who mess with the master must die. Ji Hong's smile was malevolent. He began to trigger the clock. The ancient clock had a battle technique within, Demon Note Fire Clock. Its defense was just its subsidiary ability, but its main usage was still its Demon Note attack. The only thing was that it had harsh requirements on the fire and space laws. Back then Purple Clock only managed to finish the first level. However, Ji Hong was picked especially by Luo Feng, as he was most suitable for it, plus his law comprehension and control was far above Purple Clock. He had already made progress in the second level. He could unleash the Demon Note attack. Ji Hong poured his undying energy into the ancient clock and controlled the entire clock. It was almost like a formless heavy hammer smashing onto the clock. A powerful clang resounded, making a visible demon note ripple that instantly rushed at Tian Chen, who was hiding within the Separation Tower. This attack was extremely fast, as it had already reached the limit of the universe of light speed. Within the Separation Tower. Due to controlling the Separation Tower earlier, Tian Chen only had 82% of his undying energy remaining. At this point, his expression changed. The ancient clock rang as the attack pierced through the tower, and its sound diminishing ever so slightly. However, it still passed right through Tian Chen's body. Hua! That demon note pierced his body almost like boiling water being poured into snow. With a splash, Tian Chen's undying body with only 82% remaining suffered huge losses, leaving only 33% intact. Even though the Separation Tower was a superweapon, and hiding within was extremely safe, its defensive abilities could only be compared to a normal true treasure. If Ji Hong hadn't held back earlier, it would have completely destroyed Tian Chen. How can this be? His expression changed greatly. Kai Mang, you three quickly come protect me, we have to flee. He was panicking. He'd rather sacrifice his slaves now to let himself get away. Within Ji Hong's world ring. Master, Tian Chen is heavily injured. He probably only has about 30 to 50% of his undying body left. Tian Chen communicated via his soul link and reported to Luo Feng. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Honed Heart, Sorrow Demon, Chu Kan, you three go out immediately. Use your full strength together and control Tian Chen. Luo Feng ordered. Yes, Master. 3 Emperor Pinnacle Soul Masters bowed respectfully before vanishing from the world. Within the ancient clock. Initially, there were only Fu Shui, Ji Hong and Mountain Howl. But now, 3 more appeared. Tian Chen had initially wanted to use his slaves to protect him and flee. However, with the flash, ancient clock melded with Ji Hong's body, revealing the 3 new warriors. Tian Chen's eyes were filled with fear and shock. The 3 were made of the diamond man Honed Heart, the beautiful Sorrow Demon and the black-robed stone like Chu Kan. Rumble, rumble, rumble. 3 powerful energies surged as they burnt their undying bodies. 3 more powerful warriors, Honed Heart, and... This scene shocked Tian Chen. Simultaneously, 3 powerful god energies pierced into his body. 3 soul masters. He was completely shocked by the attack. He had fallen into despair, he never expected the enemy to be that terrifying. With 3 Emperor limits, and 2 of them with true treasures. And now, there were 3 more Emperor Pinnacle Soul Masters. These were Soul Masters, who were extremely rare. How did these 3 appear together? If he was perfectly fine, Tian Chen still had confidence in getting away. Now however, with only 33% of his undying energy left, he was incredibly weak. He had no confidence at all, he could only make one decision in despair. I've been attacked by a group of other race warriors. The team has a few Emperor limits, 2 of them have true treasures. This is the location. He had connected to the virtual universe and swiftly sent the mail out madly. Any human camp warrior within the surrounding 10 billion kilometer region, along with the many numbers that he had, would all receive the urgent message. At this time, he could only hope that other warriors would rush over. If he had to rely on his strength alone, it would be over. Where did they come from, with 2 true treasures and 3 soul masters? Just where did they come from? When did I ever make such an enemy? He was panicking. Many guesses were flying through his mind, of which Blade River's name did pop up. The only thing was that he had offended too many, not just Luo Feng. Honed Heart and the others rushed forward and his consciousness was completely suppressed, unable to maintain his connection to the virtual universe. Maintain, I must persevere until the other get here. He howled within. Even though he was being suppressed, he struggled madly. Since his consciousness was being pressured and he was unable to even control his god body or connect to the virtual universe, much less self-destruct, he was like a vegetable. Only his consciousness remained. His whole body was pressed down. Separation Tower. Fu Shui controlled a thread to throw Tian Chen's body to the side, keeping the separation tower. The other threads from his ice net madly wrapped about the unlucky Tian Chen's 3 slaves. These 3 were completely subdued by Mountain Howl and Ji Hong. Within the world ring, Luo Feng, who was worried about revealing his identity, received a few mails from several friends, including Yong Yang. They were all forwarded with the information Tian Chen had sent out. What? They are all forwarded. Luo Feng read the mail in the virtual universe, his expression changed. Suddenly he received a call request, it was Yong Yang. Receive. He gently tapped the air and a screen appeared, she was standing in it. Blade River. She smiled, you just got Tian Chen's location from me, I haven't even finished my tea and yet I've received his crazy mails. Countless warriors in the human camp know about this as well. Don't tell me that you are behind this. Luo Feng looked at her. Be careful. Tian Chen is well renowned, and there are many that trust him. Hence, he has plenty of friends. And the 2 true treasures will definitely attract many others. A large group will probably be rushing over now. She said. Thanks. Luo Feng nodded and didn't say any more. He naturally understood the lure of the true treasures, seeing how the sealed stars caused such a commotion was enough. Back then when Purple Clock used the ancient clock, he was careful not to be discovered too. The 2 true treasures would definitely draw a huge group over. The only thing he was relaxed about was that Tian Chen's mail mentioned the several Emperor limits. Emperor limits with true treasures, This was dangerous. Not many would dare to come. I'm just worried about Seven Blade and Black Tea. He frowned. The human camp had two beings that were terrifying beings in the outer region wars. One was the Seven Blade, another was Black Tea. Seven Blade was human, while Black Tea was only in the human camp, and was not even a Hong Alliance member. However, for them to rush over would require some time. As long as I'm fast enough and settle this, I will be able to leave swiftly. It would be fine. If I'm slow, then it's be troublesome. His eyes gleamed ferociously. He was already retired now and wasn't under the control of the army system. Even if warriors from the human camp came, anyone that made a move against him, he would kill. All of them. Master, Tian Chen is already unable to resist the soul control. Will you control him or should we do it? Honed Heart communicated to him mentally. Luo Feng smiled. I'll do it personally. Tian Chen had 3 slaves behind him, and controlling him would be akin to getting 4 warriors. If he let Honed Heart or any of the others control him, if they fell, wouldn't he lose 5 warriors? It's over. Tian Chen lay on the broken stones, and his consciousness was suppressed. Without any strength to struggle at all, he could only await the soul control. Such helplessness made him fall into despair. A silver-winged silhouette appeared. However, with his consciousness suppressed, whatever he saw didn't connect to his mind. He couldn't even see Luo Feng. Tian Chen. A voice resounded within his mind. It's you, Blade River. His consciousness howled. I guess that it could be you. It really is. Blade River. I cannot accept this. I can't. However, after which, the howls vanished. He lay there and opened his eyes, looking at Luo Feng's gaze. He felt a sense of worship from within. He swiftly stood up and bowed respectfully. Master. Luo Feng smiled before his expression changed. There were 3 simultaneously ripples in space around him, as 3 teams had already appeared. Let's leave. He ordered immediately. This video will end here.